question that I'm asking you is that what if Whitey Bulger went unchecked? Not just in the 70s and 80s, not like in the movie The Departed, with Jack Nicholson and then Johnny Depp with Black Mass. What you saw was Rear Window, where Bulger was partners with the FBI. Not just John Conley, one rogue agent. See, that's what they do. When you catch the FBI, they throw you one agent. Oh, it's his fault. Really? Well, remember this. When Bulger was captured, you know what he said was? He said he had an immunity deal with the United States Attorney, Jeremiah O'Sullivan. All right? The United States Attorney. And Sullivan, when Bulger took off, resigned immediately. And then Bulger was gone for 16 years. You know why he was gone for 16 years? Because they weren't looking for him. What you should have got from those movies and those situations is that the FBI were partners in this corruption. They were getting paid. And when Bulger came back and he pointed to O'Sullivan, he didn't say he wasn't a murderer. He didn't say he wasn't a drug dealer and an extortionist. What did he say? That the FBI were partners with him, right to the United States Attorney. And just briefly, do you know what a United States Attorney does? They prosecute the cases for the FBI. It is the one person there that can give you immunity, that decides to prosecute or doesn't prosecute. It is the top cop in the state. Okay, now you ready for this? So the question is, what happens if he did go unchecked? Well, guess what? In New Hampshire, the same time what was going on with Bulger in the 70s and 80s, state troopers told me that Dick Aganos, the head of the cartel, not just through New Hampshire, the DEA called it the Northeast, the coverage. I'm saying it's the largest cartel in the country, and that's what would happen if Whitey Bulger went unchecked. Well, Dick Aganos did. Now, you should ask yourself, well, how did he do it? Well, I'll tell you what. The same way that Bulger was using U.S. Attorney O'Sullivan, guess who was the United States Attorney in New Hampshire? Bill Shaheen. The same Bill Shaheen that was his lawyer against me in the cartel case. Isn't that a coincidence? Right. And the Bill Shaheen was United States Attorney. That's the connection with the FBI. That's the partnership with Dick Aganos. And his assistant just happened to be the other lawyer on the case with the cartel, Steve Gordon. He was the assistant U.S. Attorney. Are you getting this? What you did was you took a drug dealer, a large drug dealer, with distribution as Dick Aganos, but still a moron. And what he did was partnered with Shaheen. You want to build an empire? You have to build an empire based on protection. That's what Shaheen offers Aganos. Aganos offered him distribution and connection to drug cartels in Mexico. And what did this generate to? Relationships with pharmaceutical companies. Right. So what did Shaheen offer him? Never to be prosecuted by the FBI, who's had my evidence for years. And remember, wasn't the FBI going after Bulger? It was the Boston Globe who discovered Bulger. They were forced to. In New Hampshire, you don't have to worry about the Boston Globe. The Manchester Union Leader, the state's largest paper, well, guess what? They named Dick Aganos the Citizen of the Year. That's the evolution of time. Media now protects these criminals. They give them titles, they give them cover. This is how you become a drug empire. Now, what is Shaheen goes to a private practice and he takes the millions that is earned with his partnership with Dick Aganos and his cartel? Well, money gets you politicians, like his wife becoming the governor, and then his wife becoming the senator, her clone, Hanson, becoming the governor, then the senator, same path. They control politicians. They control the appointments of judges in your courtroom. So think about this. Aganos can't be prosecuted. I went after him with the FBI. They won't go after him. They had the evidence. Shaheen was protecting them. The judges, Delker and Tucker, they came from the AG's office, the entity that's in control with Shaheen. Do you know what? When El Chapo's first cousin, his right-hand man, got prosecuted in New Hampshire just a few years ago, they took an assistant attorney general, Ruah, who was one of the judges on these cases, became the attorney for the cartel. Right, and he got off, his first cousin, Guzman, got off for just a few years. See, they protected him. And El Chapo tried to come into New Hampshire to get prosecuted under this wing of corruption. That's what this partnership has created. The protection and non-prosecution of Aganos. Now what happens? So here's the answer to the question. What happens if Bulger went on check? Well, Aganos did. He went on to own hospitals, like the Elliott Hospital, that sell drugs, get fentanyl from pharmaceutical companies. You know that big bus full of it? Where do you think those drugs came out of? It was only a tractor trailer full. It was the largest bus in the history of this country by tons. What else did Aganos own? Treatment centers, auto dealerships, his own primary bank. You understand? They build an empire. And he owns the charitable gaming in the state. Now how do you get that without the help, political help of Shaheen? Now why do they have that? To launder drug money. What else does Shaheen give them? The power of the banking department not to audit his bank and the credit unions that he launders his money through. It is a statewide operation from the head political of Shaheen down to the distribution of a drug cartel in Aganos. Aganos, since the 70s, has been arrested each and every decade till recently. You understand? Every decade he was arrested. One decade, in the 80s, they had a roadblock across 93 and got a supply of hits. Went into his house, got $275,000 in cash, pounds of cocaine, keys to safety St. Mary's Bank. When they went into that bank, Aganos' parents were already there. His mother had gold bars in her purse. Those keys and several safety deposit boxes. Each and every one of them were full with gold bars. I got that from State Trooper Keenan himself. There were guns at his house too. With the guns alone, he's got 5 years. Another state trooper turned around and gave me a real estate company that Aganos owned. They went into his safe. They had cocaine. They had guns. They had money. He should have been in jail again for that. And the partner in that real estate company was murdered right after that. How about another arrest? Another arrest where they turned around and surrounded his house. They had an undercover person inside the operation. And you know what happened? The DEA comes in and snatches him up, moves him to another state, and they tell Aganos off the arrest. This information's even in the newspapers. The state police went after the DEA and cited what they did. All right? So in other words, this keeps happening. Stellar Arms, it's the biggest real estate development, apartment development in the history of the state. Well, you know what else it had around 2010? It had the largest cocaine arrest in history. It was the Mexican cartel inside the development of this. You know who owned it? That's right, Big Aganos. Are you getting it? And how I was brought into this was Aaron Day came to me. Mike Especchi was the town manager of Bedford, New Hampshire. His son Aganos' son, leaving the airport in the tractor trailer full of heroin and guns and fentanyl, arrested by the Bedford police. You know what they did? Boom, they let him go, give him right back to Aganos. And you know what? Expect he was afraid of? His son. That's how Aaron Day and him came to me. Each and every decade, they built an empire. And they did it with the cooperation of the DEA, but most importantly, the FBI. You see what's happening to the president now? McCabe, Robenstein, Mueller. They're all falling apart. What did Hillary Clinton say? If we don't take this guy out, meaning Trump, he's going to put us all in a noose. And I'll publish that. This was on WikiLeaks, and it was also on the emails of the DNC chairman. So what are they so concerned of? It's the protection. And that's why they had to take Trump out. Whether you like his politics or not, just know this. He wasn't in their club. In this club, you know who Bill Shaheen is? He was Hillary Clinton's campaign manager. He's their leading fundraiser in the country. He is a super delegate. He is the lobbyist for the opioid industry. Are you seeing how this works? I was forced to go after these drug cartels myself because the DEA and the FBI wouldn't go after them. You've seen me several times deliver these evidence while they were killing thousands of you. So I put them on my signs. I confronted them personally. They tried to murder me on 3 different occasions, and the FBI know this is true. Now, don't you? And they gave me the judges that they own. The same ones protecting a cartel. And you know when we shook the tree? You know who came out of all the lawyers? Bill Shaheen. Remember? The U.S. attorney and assistant U.S. attorney that's been helping them and saving them over these years. I did this intentionally, not just to get the cartel, but to get what protects the cartel, who corrupts your courtrooms, who corrupts your state. We don't want to leave them. We need to get them all. And that's what I did. So when you look at this and you see Whitey Bulger was murdered days after he was moved, not days, hours after he was transferred. That was done intentionally to silence you. And don't be surprised if you don't hear something happen to El Chapo. Because El Chapo will get you Aganos. And Trump knows this. And will get you Shaheen. And Shaheen could get you Clinton. Why do you think she's scared of the fact that Trump was going to be elected? They can all hang. What do you think they were referring to? What do you think they were scared of? And you see this operation of the FBI? That's exactly what you're uncovering now. What do you think that I've been telling you over these years? That the evidence I've been giving to the FBI, that they are guilty of treason. So I'm going to leave you with one thought, a little history lesson. Do you know who the chief prosecutor for Jeremiah O'Sullivan was? The same person who gave Whitey Bulger immunity and let him build his crime organization. You ready? You know who the chief prosecutor was? Mueller. How's that? This corruption is decades and decades old. Mike Jones, State of Corruption.
I think that every day Jimmy got up in the morning, he looked out his window, he said to himself, I own this town. Jimmy used to claim that he had 6 FBI agents up there that he could call on at any time, and they would willingly hop in the car with him with the machine gun.
People he says...
No, he's alluding to me that he'd call them any time, they'd hop in the car and go on a hit with them.
And he said they were such good friends that he could count on them.
Correct.
To get into the car with him...
Correct.
With...
Machine guns.
With machine guns.
Yeah.
Were you a little curious as to who?
No. I figure it's better off not knowing.